making cinnamon babka, sourdough cinnamon babka. I'm gonna start off with the liquid stuff. I go lighter because I don't like it to be super sticky, so I kind of vary on mine. So about 40 grams of water. Sorry, I'm pouring that everywhere. All right, that's actually 46, a little more than I want, but it'll be fine. And then you can use any milk. It says 107, but I only use about like 60, and that'll be plenty. All right, that's about 64. And this actually makes 2 babkas at once, but that's just the way the recipe is, so I've been using it that way. Let's see, starter, about 100 grams. All right, it's more than 100, but it'll work. I'll kind of mix that around a little bit with this. I got moved because it's got a little bit of a clump in the starter. I'll let that go for a minute. You don't want that clumpiness in there. All right, good enough. It'll mix in, and then it takes 2 eggs. Crack that the worst way possible. 1, 2, and then it's also going to take, tear it out, about 29 grams of sugar, just regular sugar. You can put it all in at once or do half and half. I just do mine all at once. All right, it's about 29. And then it calls for 357 grams of all-purpose flour. I have the smallest measuring cup possible, but you know. Almost there. Be better than me, use a larger measuring cup. All right, so 357, that's 329. Touch more. All right, so that's 357. I put in the sugar, I put in the water. I need to put in the salt, which is just 8 grams. Then we kind of mix this together. I'm gonna put this into the mixer, mix it all together, and then we still need to add in our butter. It's going to be 100 grams of butter, which is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 tablespoons of butter. So let me get this mixed together, and then we'll come back. I'll show you mixing in the butter, and then go from there. So we did a quick mix. This is pretty dry. We need to add in the butter still, so that's what I'll be doing. Here we are. I let it mix for just a little bit. It looks more like cookie dough. Remember, if you want yours to be a wetter substance, you can totally add some more milk. You can add more water. It's just when I go to use it tomorrow, because tomorrow after proofing overnight in the fridge, if it's super wet, it is a pain to try to get it to not stick to everything and when you're rolling it out into making it into a babka shape. A babka. I'm actually saying it wrong. It's babka. So here we go. You can see that it's still going to be sticky. I'm going to put a little water in my hand. I don't like it sticking to me very much. So here it is. I still mix it around a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it kind of proof in a container for a couple hours, and a couple meaning 2 to 3. And this is where your bench scraper is going to come in really handy. It's going to keep it from sticking to everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of do a couple stretching folds over the course of a couple hours. You don't have to. And then what I do is I proof it. Let me show you this. Sorry, my hands are super gross. I just proof it in one of these to-go containers. So I'll leave this out for a couple hours, 2 to 3. And then I'm gonna put it in the fridge overnight, and then tomorrow morning I'm gonna get it out, I'm gonna roll it out, put the cinnamon and sugar on it, and show you how to fold it into a babka. So that's pretty much it. A couple hours on the countertop, stretch and fold it a couple times if you'd like, and then into the fridge it goes. All right, so we got the dough out. This is still cold. I rolled it out. I'd say this is about 18 inches by, it's probably more than 18 inches, isn't it? You just want to roll it out nice and thin. And then in this bowl, I had put together 200 grams of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of butter, melted, 15 grams of flour, and a little bit of salt. Some people put their cinnamon in here too, but I just sprinkle the cinnamon on. So we're just going to take this, we're going to kind of spread it all out on here. It's a little drier, so I guess if you wanted to add more butter you could, but this is just the way that I've always done it. And remember, this makes 2. So just kind of get in there, push it around, use a spatula if you want. Avoid the edges or it'll just end up falling out. Remember, it's going to be on the inside, so nobody's going to see it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Closer to the edge, but not, falling out. Right, once you kind of got that all spread on there, you get your cinnamon. Just sprinkle it on there. I'm sure there's a certain amount, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I just try to make sure I get some. A little here, a little there. If you like less cinnamon, use less cinnamon. Then up next is the trickiest part. You're gonna be looking like you're making a cinnamon roll. And this is really well floured because it will stick. Here's some sticking going on there. And that's where your bench scrapers will come in handy. Actually, that's a little bit of butter in there. So just going to, some of my butter didn't incorporate well. Move that. Just gonna kind of roll it down just like you're making a cinnamon roll. This one's actually not sticking too bad today. Usually it's terrible. So if yours is sticking worse, that is totally normal. Get a hole, kind of pinch it shut. Get to the end, pull it up over. And then you'll think, oh, I'm making cinnamon rolls. So remember, this recipe makes 2. So this is how I split mine in half. I just kind of make a U, go like that. Each one of these will make their own cinnamon babka. So you send it like this, and you can see it looks like a cinnamon roll. And this is the trickiest part, because it's going to want to fall apart. And I'm going to be putting it in just, this is a smaller size loaf pan, not the bigger one. I'm not sure the dimensions, but the normal size one. You're just going to take your, you can use a knife if you don't have a bench scraper. You're just going to cut it right down the middle, like that. And then purely for aesthetics, I always put one this way and one that way, so the ends kind of don't match up. You're going to crisscross it, and crisscross it, and things are going to fall out. That's totally normal. You're just going to try to keep doing that until you get to the end. And I always try to like pinch the ends in, then go back up here, do that again. You can do it more than once, great. If not, that's okay. Then I just set mine right on top of a piece of parchment paper. Put it in there, and I'm gonna let it rise a couple hours in a nice, not hot, but somewhat warm place. And then I'll show you when I'm gonna bake it. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing with the other side. So you're gonna have 2 out of this one recipe. So I'm gonna break it in half, flip it around. It's like you're weirdly braiding, but there's not enough there to braid. There we go. And then we're gonna let these rise for a couple hours and then bake. All right, they have risen pretty well. Let's see, look pretty good. We're going to bake them at preheated 350 for 40 minutes. And here we are. They just came out of the oven. And they look good. They smell even better.